Most people think that publishing a book is incredibly complicated. But the truth is this. It's not complicated, it's just misunderstood. And I know this because when I was trying to write my first book, I was confused beyond all confusion. I heard that there were different ways to publish. I heard there were different types of publishers. And I was really, really confused about what was for me, what was the best option for me, and honestly, what was even available for me. Well, 10 years after my first book, I've written 4 bestsellers, and I have now built a company called Big Idea to Bestseller that helps people just like you write, publish, and launch nonfiction books for business growth and impact. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of people do this, and so I want to share with you the options that are available to you and how to know what's actually best for you so that you could get your book published this year. Now, there are 3 main ways that you can get a book published: traditional publishing, hybrid publishing, and self-publishing. Let's walk through each one of these and let me show you what I believe is the best option for most entrepreneurs and why. So the first option that you have when it comes to publishing your book is traditional publishing. Now, this is what most people think publishing is, right? This is the big publishing house, the book deals, the advances, the airport bookstores. And this is awesome if you can fit a certain criteria. But the reality for me when I was writing my first book was this: no traditional publisher would touch me as a first-time author. I didn't want to wait years and years and years to get my book out. I wanted to go for speed. And I didn't have a massive platform. So no publisher was going to be like, oh, you know what? Let's take a chance on this first-time author who doesn't have an audience and hope that he's going to make us money. Why? Because traditional publishers, they make their money when you sell books. That's why they keep a large percentage of your royalties. And most publishers, from my experience of going through this and also talking with a lot of successful traditionally published authors, is they're not always looking for just great ideas. They're also looking for built-in distribution. For example, I had a friend who was trying to pitch themselves, and the first thing a publisher asked them, or an agent asked him before signing on, was, how big is your audience? Who do you already know? And the reason for that is because they want to know, can you sell your own books so that they can make a return on their investment? And I get it. That's their business model, and it's worked for years. But I think there's a better way today. And so if you don't already have a massive audience, then you're often a risky bet as a first-time author for a traditional publishing house. And so for me, when I was evaluating my options, traditional publishing wasn't really in the cards for me. I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to give up a lot of my rights. And to be honest, I wasn't a great candidate for a traditional publisher based on their business model. And so I knew that if I wanted to get my book out faster and really achieve the goals that I set, I needed to look at a different option. Let me talk to you about option number 2, which is hybrid publishing. Now, hybrid publishing can mean so many different things. And to be honest, I've been in this industry. I've written 4 books before I turned 30. I've been doing this since 2016. I am still figuring out all the different ways that people have positioned and packaged themselves in the hybrid publishing model. And it may sound great on the surface. You pay a little bit of upfront, but you get publisher support. So you pay a little bit and you give up a smaller royalty percentage. And this way you actually feel like you're getting a lot of support. Now, again, this could be perfect for you. It could be done well. There's no right or wrong way to doing this. It's just what's the best option for you. But when I look at hybrid publishing, one of the issues that I faced when I looked at it was that I didn't want to pay thousands of dollars and also give up a royalty percentage, whether that was anywhere from 10 to 60% or whatever the options were at the time. I don't remember exactly. Also, what I found is that most hybrid publishers are kind of vague about the deliverables. And again, if you know exactly what you need, this could work really well for you because it could become very clear. But what I hate hearing from people who go the hybrid publishing model where they pay money up front and then give royalty is they can get stuck. Okay? And then the last piece of this, just like in traditional publishing, which is a big misconception, is you as the author, no matter if you have a traditional publishing deal, hybrid publishing deal, you're still responsible for the marketing and sales of your book. So, in other words, you're taking on a handful of risk, but you don't get to keep all of the upside. And I don't know about you, but if I'm using a book for back-end business growth, I want speaking engagements, coaching clients, I want to start a new business, I want to be able to use my book myself. I want to answer to me. I want to be able to use that book to generate opportunities. Now, if you want marketing and sales support, then that's a different question to be asking than who should your publisher be? All right, and these are lessons that I've learned the hard way. And I've talked with thousands and thousands of authors from self-publishing, hybrid publishing, traditional publishing. And these are just some of the things that I've noticed from these conversations as well as in my own experience. And so here's the third way to essentially publish your book today is you can self-publish. Now, the self-publishing is the DIY route. Now, over the years, self-publishing has evolved in how people perceive it. For example, early on, self-publishing wasn't even an option, so therefore it didn't even exist. That's why traditional publishing is the mainstream thing of what you think of. But then self-publishing became possible, and then anybody could just publish a book. So self-publishing got a really bad rep because people were publishing a bunch of garbage. The interior of the book wasn't designed properly or laid out. People were getting $5 covers that didn't even make sense to what the book were. Then, fast forward, the quality potentially started to get better, but then there was AI. And AI is putting out a bunch of word slop, and it's just getting out, and people are just publishing books on repeat over and over and over and over again. But the problem is this. A lot of times, self-publishing gets this bad reputation because of the low-quality, amateur-type looking books. And I think that this is, unfortunately, causing a lot of people to have a bad name around self-publishing, thinking that it's less than. But in reality, it doesn't have to be less than. Now, let's dig in a little bit deeper on this. When it comes to self-publishing, it can be really overwhelming because you, as the author, are piecemealing everything together. You are finding a writing coach potentially. You're finding a cover designer, an editor, a formatter, a proofreader. You're finding all these pieces, but yet none of them are talking together. None of them know who's working on what part. And you essentially have to figure out what's the order and cadence of how do I do this? How do I not get scammed? How do I know what to pay? And all of these things. The positive side is that you're completely in control of everything. And once it's done, you retain 100% of your ownership. So there's so many pros and cons to self-publishing, but after doing it, I was like, there's got to be a better way. Because when I did it, I spent so many hours Googling these things, reading different books, trying to figure it out, sourcing different editors, formatters, designers, and I was just like, this is crazy. There's got to be a better way. And that's ultimately why we created a newer way of publishing, which is self-publishing with a professional flair, or professional self-publishing. And that's the world that I like to live in. That's the way that I like to use my books. And that's why we built Big Idea to Bestseller. This is a self-publishing with a professional flair experience. And so what does that mean? Well, it combines the best of all worlds. So professional self-publishing gives you the opportunity to get the service of a traditional publisher where you have a one-stop shop to do everything from start to finish, but you get the benefits of self-publishing, meaning that you own 100% of the book, of the rights, of the IP, of the content. So you get the same support, but you get all the benefits. And this is where it's so valuable, especially if you're looking beyond book sales to monetize your book. And so let me break this down a little bit. If you want to use your book to generate leads, speaking engagements, coaching clients, authority, then professional self-publishing is one of the best things you could do. Why? Because you'll have a high-quality book that looks amazing, but you'll also have the ownership to use it how you want. So you can give your book away. You can give it away for free. You could sell it for whatever price you want. You could sell it for a lot. For little, you can bundle it. You can use it to network. You can use it as customer acquisition. You can use it in a lot of different ways and have full control. Plus, you're in control of your timeline, the overall aesthetic, the design, and everything in between. Why? Because you own it. And so at Big Idea to Bestseller, we help you. We guide you through it. We're a one-stop shop. We help you with a writing coach or a ghostwriter. We edit the book for you. We design the book for you. We publish the book for you. But you keep ownership. So now you already have the path. You already have the plan. And we help you get some of the marketing and sales support. So what happens now is your time to launch is faster. Your quality is the same. Your ownership is 100%. And that's professional self-publishing. So the question that I want to leave you with is this. It's not really about which publisher should I try to go with or which style should I go with. But in reality, it's how should I publish this most strategically so that I can fit my timeline, my goals, and ultimately retain ownership. So if you're looking to write a book for business growth, this is what I'd encourage you to think about. Okay, because you have the knowledge, you have the skills, you have the experience, you have everything you need to have a great book. It's just about figuring out what's the best way to get it done, published, and successfully launched. So if your book is meant to open doors, build credibility, network, create real impact, and grow your business, then you might want to consider self-publishing with a professional flair. Now, I wrote a book on exactly how to do this, and it's called Big Idea to Bestseller, and I want to give you a free copy. So if you want to learn the exact step-by-step process to writing and launching a successful nonfiction book, go to bigideabestseller.com/free-book. And if you know that and you want to learn more about what is self-publishing with a professional flair and you want to learn how could that potentially be right for you based on your goals, then go to bigideabestseller.com/call and you could set up a demo and we'll actually walk you through the game plan of finishing your book in just a few months. So there you have it. I hope you really got a ton of value out of this. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me on Instagram at Jake Kelfer or reach out directly because I want to help you get your book out to the world in a way that makes sense for you and your goals. Talk to you later.